Okay, tables that we are going to access is LFA1 and LFBK, internal table and work area are copies of MAKT, and this is a system function that is being used and a variable is introduced. Internal table is copying LFBK. So MAKT, LFBK, these are the tables. Event selection screen, the block B1, and in B1 we have parameters, language, and material number for getting data from MAKT, matching material number. Okay. Parameters, pcheck as checkbox user command check. Oh.
जी सर आ गई।
Okay. Now, events we have form and form concept as well. Okay. When the program gets loaded, this system function will also get loaded, and it will initialize. Initialize means that it will populate this variable, and it will be equal to the system function, whatever the values. So at selection screen on help request, this is a keyword again for material number. If system subroutine is filled or initialized, and if at selection screen on value request for at selection screen on help on value request and help request. Okay, let's do one thing. We'll keep this for the next part. At selection screen output loop at screen. Screen name equals p inv and p check is initial. Screen active 0, modify screen end if end loop. At selection screen on block B1, now we made a block B1 which has parameters and language. At selection screen on block, so when the debugger or the program debugger comes here, it will activate block B1. Select single record from all record, but single row from MAKT into work area. When Matner matches Matner, then it will produce all from the MAKT for that material number. I've deactivated because it had some error. I'll see that later. Start of selection. Again, we are giving this system variable. Perform get data. Now get data was not responding because we have another form over here. End of selection. Perform show output. So when I'm using perform, it basically is invoking a form which is separately maintained for this program. Now forms basically are part of the program but are maintained separately. So these are reusable codes and blocks of code. And in that I have data, which is variable, LV date, type system date, and LV date will be equal to system date. Select all from MAKT into internal table. From MAKT, bring all everything into internal table. One matter is equal to P matter. Okay. Activate. Direct processing. Activate. Okay. P matter. LAP9FGEN. Now this is basically help request, value request that we were seeing. PNV. Okay, we don't have anything. Execute. So we have a series from one number to another. So we'll just get any random material number right now. Okay, 01. So we have a series over here. Lowest value to highest value. Execute. Okay, it's not executing right now. Let's go back to the code. In our code, we had form get data, MKT table. Okay, now these the events are getting triggered, but we have not actually given any write statement. That is the thing. Select. Write LV underscore date. Matrix is unknown. Matness trust. Okay, matrix. Matner is unknown. S Matner. Similar names. S Matner. Spras is unknown. Okay. Omit this. Check. Syntax errors. Activate. Okay, it is actually producing the date and the material number. Okay, so basically within a program you have a reusable form. It is getting triggered whenever we use the perform show output, that is now working. Okay, now based on the blocks, now your code of course will look cleaner and reusable and understandable if it is in blocks. In blocks, of course, we have logics that is residing in this block. Now over here we had PINV as chart 10 and PMATNA as type C. So it was not actually picking up the material number, it was not matching it with that material number. Okay. Okay. Begin of block, load of program, selection screen on help request for PMATNA. Now what we'll do is we will deactivate this one and reactivate this one. That was help request. Now we have a value request. Activate. Execute. Okay, it is producing. Now We'll have to actually check the debugger how it is responding. Okay. Let's go back to our presentation, what we need to actually cover. Types of procedures, subroutines, function. We'll see this very much in detail in the next lecture. So what types of procedures do we have? Subroutines, function modules, and methods. We've already seen how subroutines are called using form and form. Okay, subroutines, form and form. We've already seen that. Form get data, we've already used this. Okay, and form show output loop. Okay, now this is basically we'll have to use this form show output, form end form, and let us in show output we need end loop and get data. Okay. Yes, get data. Yes. Okay, let's go back. Get data. It will reference to the master program. Okay. Now, this will get included in this master program, which is events. So this is the include basically you're working on, the new concept of including new programs. Okay. So it automatically gets populated whenever you double click it using the perform keyword. Okay. Save, perform get data. And I want this show output to be end of this part. Check the syntax errors, activate. Okay. Direct processing. Matner, execute. Okay. It's not getting executed somehow. Let's reprocess it. This is because the messaging part was deactivated because it had some error. I'm not actually going into the list again. Okay, now it is producing the Matner thing because we have the forms basically are working with the internal table. Okay, and then producing the numbers. So that was that. Let's go back to our presentation. Get data, show output. Function modules. Now, function modules basically are defined in function pool type, ABAP programs between function and function statements. They are called with call function. Statement is the keyword, and the user fills the interface with keyword parameters and therefore must know their names. Okay, function vs and T. Function blocks are maintained in function pools. Function modules are created in SE37. So if we have to invoke the functions, we'll be using this in SE37 and reference it back to the main program. So SE37 is where you only maintain functions. Okay. Now, function module, we can actually use this in a function builder. Okay. function module ZFM, input 1, input 2, and this is basically the notes that the function will actually produce for you. In program, after end of selection, place function call module call function ZFM, end of selection. Okay, let's go back to our code. End of selection. Okay, over here, we will use the function ZFM. Call function ZFM. Z underscore FM. Okay, we will have to make this function module as well. But before that, exporting input 1, 2, 3, importing result is equal to V result. Now this is where we are introducing the call function. Okay, and double click, save. From here, what we'll do, we'll create another instance, SC37. A function module, Z underscore FM. If it is not, does not exist. Okay, create. Now this is a new concept again. Function module, function group. We've already made a function group. Function group. So main function group. Okay. ZFM function module T74. I hope this is clear, Hassan.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Come on. Let's stop over here. We'll continue from here because I guess the server is not responding again.